Hi guys, I am in Gurgaon today. That city जहाँ मैंने अपना लास्ट कॉर्पोरेट जॉब किया था, आपको पता होगा. आई एम कवरिंग अ कॉलेज टुडे जिसको मैंने काफ़ी पहले भी कवर किया है, पर इसके कैंपस में पहली बार आ रहा हूँ. तो इस वीडियो में ये अलग होगा कि आई एम गोना टॉक टू टू मास्टर्स यूनियन स्टूडेंट्स टू टॉक अबाउट द कैंपस, द कॉलेज, एवरीथिंग. मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताता हूँ कॉलेज के बारे में. वी ऑल नो दैट मास्टर्स यूनियन इज ऑलरेडी बिकम वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पॉपुलर एंड टॉक्ड अबाउट कॉलेजेस इन इंडिया, क्योंकि ऑफ कोर्स द प्लेसमेंट नंबर्स आर वेरी वेरी हाई. वी नो कि इसका प्लेसमेंट नंबर्स आर एज गुड एज IIMs. वी गोना टॉक अबाउट दैट विद द स्टूडेंट्स. पर मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताता हूँ कॉलेज के बारे में जो मुझे पहले स्ट्राइक किया व्हेन आई एंटर्ड. नाउ दिस कॉलेज इज़ एट साइबर पार्क गुड़गांव. बगल में ही सारे कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिसेज हैं. हमें पता है गुड़गांव इज़ द हब ऑफ ऑल दी corporate offices. So there is Bain, there's Reckitt, there's Gartner. There are all these companies which are the best companies in terms of personnel in the corporate world. And these people make masters union. इनको masters भी बोला जाता है. यहाँ पे लोग पढ़ाते भी हैं, industry experts, and they mentor students. तो ये masters union के masters हैं. जैसे मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में क्या होता है कि डॉक्टर्स जो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं वो पढ़ाते हैं, and that's why the education is so practical. I think that is the word for masters union. The education here is practical. क्योंकि यहाँ पे इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट्स आपको ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं आपके साथ ज़्यादा देन एकेडमिशियंस और फैकल्टी जो कि इंडस्ट्री में नहीं गए हैं, बस पढ़ाने आ गए. ठीक है. वी आर नॉट गोना स्पीक टू 2 स्टूडेंट्स एंड वी गोना नो अबाउट 3-4 मेजर थिंग्स जो मैं आपको पहले ही बता देता हूँ. एडमिशन प्रोसेस, अ डे इन द लाइफ एट मास्टर्स यूनियन, ऑफ कोर्स प्लेसमेंट्स, एंड हाउ आर दीज पीपल trained day in and day out, groomed day in and day out to become better corporate experts, and of course if they want to launch a startup, do something else of their own, how do they do it? Guys, I have with me 2 Masters Union students, Reema and Shanil. So thank you for being a part of this video, both of you. You guys are the future masters in a way, and I'm already impressed by the different things that Masters Union stands for, the location, the kind of curriculum that you have that I know about, of course the placement and the rules in fact. So first of all, I would want to know from you, what is your profile, your academic background and your work background, if you could tell us.
I did my undergraduation from SRCC. I graduated in BCom Honors, and post that I got placed in upgrad as a strategy associate. So coming to how I chose MU, so it's interesting. So this was while I was working in upgrad, and I had a call from my senior, and he told me that he joined Masters Union. I asked him why unconventional, because usually it's from one red brick to another red brick, that's everyone follows. So why not a conventional B school? And he told me about the curriculum, he told me about the different outclass programs that we have, which piqued my interest. And post that I was very laser focused on how to get into Masters Union. So that's how my short brief journey of how I went for Masters Union.
So I'm Shanil Samantra, and I graduated from DTU. So I did my mechanical engineering, and after that I worked as a software engineer. So I decided to switch my career there. I tried to teach myself how to write code, and I worked in a few startups, and mainly I worked in Pristine Care, and there was another startup called Solvative. I worked in these 2 startups.
So we have a technical, in a way, an engineer and a non-engineer. That's what's being said in the B school arena. You tell us about what impressed you about Masters Union.
So for me to pick Masters Union wasn't a very simple decision. I took my time with it. So actually I was there with a friend of mine, and both of us, a school friend of mine, we were deciding that whether Masters Union is the best choice for us or not. And so it so happens that when the application process came, this was I think in the previous cohort for him, 23. So he decided that this is it for him, and he wanted to go ahead with it. Whereas I was still unsure about my decision at that particular time, and I wasn't really convinced. So I thought I'd take my time with it. And a year later, when he actually went through the whole process, and he came out saying that, I saw him go through the process also. I saw him go through all the outclass challenges, everything that he did in the process. And that really got me impressed. I was really impressed with everything that was actually happening on ground. More than what was being said outside, I saw it actually happen.
You must have, say, an option of, say, applying for top IIMs or the ISBs as well. So what were these other options that probably were in your mind, and then how did you decide of joining it over these B schools?
So actually I was thinking of IMT. Like I said, I took my time deciding whether I wanted to be here or not. But then like I said, I was working with startups, and that's something that I really wanted to do. And looking at my career in the future, I wanted to be in a place where I would be closely working with startups or working in a field similar that gives me the same exposure. And Masters Union is the place to be for that, because if you look at the placement reports, you look at people getting placed into roles like founder's office. Now it's a very new role, and Masters Union gives you the leverage to be there, to take such roles out there.
So for the viewers who are interested in taking admission to Masters Union, can you explain to the viewers about how the admission process is?
Yeah, so the admission process is very similar to applying to a foreign university, where they completely look at your profile and not just your exam that you have to give. So, but we also do have something called the MUBAT exam that Masters Union holds on its own. And it's a very different kind of exam. There are it's a gamified exam that takes place. It's something like, you gotta navigate your way through and they can assess you with that.
The process flows is like the application, then the MUBAT exam, and then the final shortlist for the interview, and our results comes out. And talking about the weightage, how they actually select the students are, so 33% of weightage is given to the student's profile, which is their experience, where they are coming from, and also the next 33% is given for their academic profile and the co-curricular activities that they have done, and the next part of 33% is given for the communication that the students have.
And when is the exam held generally?
1 week after the deadline. Our day basically starts from our hostel, which is 15 minutes away from our campus. After coming to campus, the campus is open for 24/7 to work. Our typical day starts. Our entire curriculum is split into in-class and out-class. So for this term, for out-class we have either creator challenge or the consulting challenge, which is called as MUCG. So here, once we are done with our core subjects and electives in the class, and where we work on our projects, and then we have to work on this out-class programs as well. So here, for me, I took up the consulting challenge, where I'm consulting for an HR-based Bangalore startup. Then I'm consulting for the global expansion, and I'm also consulting for the company called as Park Plus Life. These are things that we do out-class program per se. And we also have a lot of CXO sessions happening on a day-to-day basis. We get to hear a lot of insights from the industry experts, like Chanel said. They come just from above the building. So that's how a typical day looks like.
Impressive, very impressive.
The hostel is in the heart of Gurgaon, so the experience is not just limited to the hostel itself, because you have the option you have the whole of Gurgaon out there in front of you. And so a lot of times, we get together, we go around to the sports complex where we have team sports. A lot of our professors, we had this ultimate frisbee competition and we played with our professor. So that's pretty great. We have a lot of interactions with the professors also.
On that point that you spoke about, the fact that the Gurgaon factor helps a lot to you guys, and the fact that you're in the heart of Gurgaon. So how do these industry interactions, how much of the of the year or the session, academic session, is spent in these industry interactions with these industry experts, and what are these kind of sessions that you typically spend your time in?
So these sessions that take place, so I'll give you an example actually. So there was a session that was supposed to be with the head of HR for Pernod Ricard, and that's Nitu Bhushan. So I was not prepared to come for this session. I thought the session is going to be about HR, but when I walked into the room, and it turns out that she had got someone from her marketing team. She had got a marketing head who gave us a complete brief about their marketing campaign that they had just recently launched. This could just happen because the Pernod Ricard office is right above us in the same building. And if that wasn't the case, it would have been really difficult for her to bring in an extra person to give us such insights about the place.
Yes, I would like to point out the industry experts here. So we have a subject called as management strategy. So the managing partner of Arthur D. Little, Thomas Kurula sir, he teaches the subject. And it's very interesting, he takes us through his entire journey of how he solved the problems for companies like Apple, Luxottica, Walmart. And then it's very interesting to hear about his insights and the journey and everything. So it helps you to build your managerial acumen as well.
Guys, this is the classroom of Masters Union. If you get in here, this is where you'll spend most of your classroom session. Tell us now about placements. The numbers are very, very, very impressive. Why do you get these placements? Is the batch quality, does it play a big factor in the placements?
Batch quality part. We have a very diverse background. To give you some stats, we have more than 30 entrepreneurs in the batch. We have more than 15 plus CAs. Like we have people from ISRO. Then we have people who runs a resto bar in Pondicherry. And and he himself plays polo. Yes.
A B school is all about the students that it has. I mean, the fact that the best B schools are the best B schools is because of the students, and glad that you spoke about the numbers. Could you now also talk about, the placement figures, which are the most prominent roles which are offered here? I've heard chief of staff roles. What are these roles? Why are they offered in such heavy numbers to you, and which companies offer the best roles to you?
So one of the major roles people go for is a chief of staff role, and that's because our college equips you. It's a new age B school, and these roles, that a chief of staff role is basically someone who knows the tech, who knows the business, and is the right hand man of the founder right there. And this is something that Masters Union really promotes. It teaches you to be leaders directly. And what better role to be at than a chief of staff role for that?
Other than chief of staff roles, we have conventional roles like consulting roles coming from BCG, Bain, Kearney, and also we have international placement. One of our senior got placed in the company called as Talabat in Dubai in a strategy role, which is very impressive. And we have VC firms coming like Andler, Waterbridge. So it's very diverse in that way. And also how the college equips us is we have this program called as practicums. So where each of us get to choose our domain. We can choose multiple domains at the beginning so that we get to know which path we want to choose ahead. And so in practicum, industry professionals comes and teach us and take us through the entire journey of how that role looks like.
Can you also talk about a few companies which offer these founder office roles?
So major companies like I said, a lot of the major startups offer that. So to name them, some of them would be Zepto, Razorpay, Zerodha, are some of the companies that come.
So guys, what I can make out is, you can see they're already big names, traditional consulting names like Bain, the Kearneys, AT Kearney and BCG. These are the biggest names in consulting. And then you have these startups which offer a lot of money and offer good roles. Founder office is a very good role, which probably is the reason why they get such salaries. There's a lot of hullabaloo about the fact that the placement report of Masters Union. Could you tell us how true is that? Could you talk about the rating agencies, and you guys are here. So could you tell us one reason for all the viewers and of course me to also explain such fantastic numbers of Masters Union, one or two reasons of that?
So the major reason I would say would be that the cohort that is already here, people are so diverse, people are already so talented that it is easy for them to get roles that are that are good roles out there.
Understood.
That is one major reason.
Yeah.
And obviously, as I said, the college equips you that. And we have programs like VIP, Venture Initiation Program, where we can do our own startups. So we know what it entails to do in an entire business, the flow like. So all this helps us in actually capturing that dream role.
Perfect. Thank you so much for these lovely answers, both of you. I urge the viewers to also know more about the college. If they want to know more about the college, they can connect with these two folks on LinkedIn. I'll be sharing your LinkedIn profiles in the description because of course it's a new B school, so I'm sure that people will be curious and to know more things about the college. I have been thoroughly impressed by the college. I hope that all your answers were answered, and I'm sure that you are also impressed by a lot of things which are not offered by any other college which this college offers. All the best, stay safe and take care.